You're just a big, fat panda.
I'm not a big fat panda. I'm the big fat panda.
Citizens of the Valley of Peace, it's your boy the Big Fat Panda coming back at you with another Dota 2 video. Today we're gonna talk about why pro players are better than you at Dota. This boils down to a few things pro players do differently, as well as how they do it and the way they think about and look at the game. But before getting into that, we need to classify Dota into two categories. Number 1, techniques or good game mechanics, and number 2, strategy or decision making. Note, these mechanics are different from the game mechanics, which are concerned with the inner workings of the game. For more info on that, click the link provided in the description box below. Techniques and strategy can be and should be considered as two sides of the same coin. The reason pro players are better than most average players is because they have mastered these two aspects of the game. If strategy is concerned with what objectives need to be completed in order to win the game, techniques are concerned with the best way to complete those objectives. This video is the first in a many-part series covering the techniques and technical aspects of the game. I will also be making another video series covering the strategy aspect of the game, so do look out for that. You can be notified when it comes out by hitting that subscribe button and clicking that bell icon. So, without any further ado, let's get into techniques or good game mechanics. Good game mechanics. Good game mechanics can be considered as the best way to complete your objectives. These objectives include, but are not limited to, taking last hits, getting denies, killing the enemy, or taking towers. The final objective of Dota is destroying the enemy ancient before they can destroy yours. A pro player with good game mechanics will find a more efficient way to complete the same objectives as anyone else. So even if you have the decision making and strategy of a pro player, you might not be able to execute it as well as they would. Therefore, it is important to improve on both these aspects if you want to get better and improve your MMR. So now that we know what good game mechanics are, let's get into the first one. The first category we are looking at is last hitting and denying, also known as creep score, also known as CS, also known as CS LUL. Before we get into last hitting and denying, let us just take a brief look at gold and experience. A good player will be looking to maximize the amount of gold and experience he can get in a given time frame. Simply put, gold is one of the currencies available to us in the game. It can be used to buy items as well as buy back into the game. Items are used to make heroes stronger, and expensive items are usually better than cheap ones. Experience is used to get levels. With each level, a hero becomes stronger as well as gains an ability point, which can be used to get new skills or improve the power of existing skills. So we can see, to get stronger in the game, we need gold and we need experience. One of the major sources of gold and experience is CSing, that is, last hitting and denying. Now that we know what gold and experience is, let's get into last hitting and denying, or creep score. Simply put, creep score is the number of creeps killed and the number of creeps denied. Your CS can be seen in the top left corner of the screen. You get last hits by delivering the killing blow to non-hero units, including units controlled by enemy heroes. There are also a lot of settings which can be used to help increase your creep score, but there is no such thing as the best settings, and it all depends on you and your own personal preference. Also, let me know in the comment section below what settings you use and why. Now we'll be looking at some techniques which are used by pro players to maximize their farm and experience in lane as well as outplay their opponents. These techniques involve a strategy aspect to them, but because of the continuous advancements in the meta as well as the increased skill level, they have become a staple in most high MMR games. First, we'll be talking about last hitting techniques in general. Number 1. Zoning. Simply put, zoning is the ability to keep the enemy far from the fighting creep waves such that they cannot contest the lane for last hits or experience. Zoning works as the enemy does not want to take damage or die as a result of staying in close proximity with the fighting creep waves. Number 2. Pseudo deny. In this case, you yourself don't manage to get the creep kill or deny, but prevent the enemy from getting it. In most cases, the creep ends up being killed by its opposing creep wave or towers. Number 3. Faking attacks. You can pretend to attack a creep by cancelling the animation just before it hits the creep in such a way that the enemy makes a mistake which makes him miss the last hit or deny, or allows you to secure it. Securing last hits. If your core cannot reach the creep for some reason, such as they're busy with the creep wave or enemy hero, far from the creep, or zoned out by the enemy, as a support, you must try to secure the last hit or deny using your attacks or skills. This is mainly used for the range creep, as your core will be busy with the rest of the wave and your enemies will be trying to deny it because of its positioning and value. Number 5. Making trades. It is very difficult to get each and every last hit or deny in a lane. This is when you make trades with your enemy. Trades such as a last hit for a last hit, or a last hit for a deny, or a last hit or a deny for health or regen. That is, the enemy harasses you with his skills and attacks while you go and take a last hit, or a last hit or a deny for mana. That is, you use your spells for getting last hits or a deny. This includes using spells on the creeps for damage or using spells on the enemy for zoning. What determines whether a trade is a good trade or a bad trade will be different in different situations. Number 6. Body blocking. This involves standing very close to or on top of the creep in such a way that the enemy cannot attack it because your hero model is getting in the way every time he tries to attack it. This technique is also useful for hiding the creep's health bar from the enemy so they don't know when to last it. This is very useful but involves trading health for last hits, as the enemy will be trying to attack you in order to attack the creep. Number 7. Observing. Observing the enemy's movements, determining his intentions and predicting his actions can provide you with the knowledge required to outplay him. Also, observing the creep which you are looking to get the last hit of, that is, which units are attacking it, what is their damage, and what would be the right time to attack the creep to get a risk-free last hit. Now, we'll be looking at taking last hits and denies under the tower. Number 1. Dropping your Quelling Blade. This requires you to have a good understanding of how many hits a tower will take to kill a particular creep. In many cases, it is impossible to kill a creep with 1 or 2 attacks because of the way the creep's health and tower damage stack up, and you cannot give more than 2 or 3 attacks due to the time constraints. In such cases, dropping Quelling Blade between attacks can be used to secure last hits. To know more about this, please check the link provided in the description box below. Number 2. Getting last hits with the help of a support. Due to the presence of an ally support who generally has less damage than the core, you can substitute the non-Quelling Blade attack with an attack by your ally. This requires knowledge of hero damage as well as coordination and trust between the two players, but makes last hitting under the tower much easier. Number 3. Using the tower range. You can allow the tower to attack a creep a few times and then walk outside the tower range such that the creep follows you out and isn't attacked by the tower anymore. Now you can easily kill the creeps without thinking about the damage you have and the creep's health, as well as worrying about the tower taking your last hits. This is usually difficult to do because the enemies will be there to contest the creeps. These are some of the important techniques pros use to get more last hits in a lane. The key to mastering these techniques is practicing them and also watching the player perspective of the laning phase of pro players rather than just watching their highlights. Thank you for watching my video. Like the video if you enjoyed it and learned something from it. Also, leave a comment in the comment section below to let me know your thoughts. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified the next time I upload a video. The next video in this series will be about lane control and creep pulling, stacking, and counter pulling and stacking. So do let me know in the comments what you'd like to see in those videos. Until then, it's your boy, the Big Fat Panda, signing off. Skadoosh.
I'm not a big fat panda. I'm the big fat panda.